لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى ولا سيما سيدنا محمدا المصطفى صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله أهل الصفا ورضي الله عن أصحابه أهل الوفاء وعمن بآثاره مقتدى واهتدى واقتفى. أما بعد، العلماء العظام الحاضرين الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Qadi, Allah have mercy on him and me and bless him tremendously without any limits, has expressed his good self in what he thinks and his husn dhan of everybody else of the Muslim Ummah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him for his husn dhan, and may Allah forgive me for what he thought I have. Because those are, yes, they may be our grandfathers, but there is a big difference between what they were and where we are. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through their asrar and their anwar and their guidance and huda, that Allah guide us and assemble us all at their feet in the day of judgment. Because I ask Allah, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assembles us where the luggage of Ali Muhammad is, then we are winners indeed. So that's where I seek. لا أنساب بينهم يومئذ. العمل. It's our deeds. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His mercy and بأسمائه العليا وصفاته الحسنى, that He assembles all of us around the al of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam في الدنيا والآخرة. That He makes us around them in the dunya and He makes us around them in the akhirah. And He makes us among them. So they tell us, you are from us, inshallah. Just like they said to Salman, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Salmanu minna, أهل البيت. وهذا حديث حسن نعم إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وهو صحيح إلى علي. الله إن أحسن الحديث كتاب الله تعالى وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها. So let's go to أحسن الحديث. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أحسن الحديث كتاب الله تعالى. So let's go to كتاب الله تعالى. والله سبحانه وتعالى يقول الله العظيم في كتابه الكريم بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هو الذي خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة. صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. الحياة, life is tough. Life is tough. يعني subhanallah, as if when Allah called it ad-dunya in the Arabic language means the lower. Adna, dunya, low. Samawati al-ula, high. Ula, duna. Ulya, dunya. Low, whenever you are living that life, that is a life that is dunya, then you're going to have to face lots of things in it that are dunya as well. That's normal. Subhanallah. Yani the poet said, المرء رهن مصائب لا تنقضي حتى يوارى جسمه في رمسه. the human being is hostage to disasters and problems that are endless, one after the other. You finish from one, you think you're done, another one hits you. You finish from one, another one hits you. You think this is the biggest one, khalas. Once you're done with this one, it's going to be smooth. Little you know, you're done with it, now a bigger one comes to you. Huh? حتى يوارى جسمه, until you're buried in the grave. Yeah, that's when you have the real comfort. That's why the narration says, لا راحة لمؤمن إلا بلقاء ربه. The only true comfort of the mu'min is when there is the liqa of Allah. When they meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With ibadullah, problems, yeah. Lakin with Allah ar-Rahim. Allah Rahim, Allah Ghafoor, Allah Halim. Lakin ibadullah, they have no maghfirah. They don't want to forgive. And they don't want to forget. And they don't want to give. Hatta when they give, there is man wa adha. I gave you, I did this to you. Lakin Allah gives you, there is no man, there is no. But because this life is difficult, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put for us many ways to be close to Him and go through this life without seeing the difficulty. The most important thing that He led us to is His love and the love of His Messenger. حب الله وحب رسوله. ترى المحب, the one who really loves Allah جل جلاله and loves His Rasul صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم, he goes through dunya without caring of anything. Why? As long as you are close to Allah, who cares what happens? If you found Him, who cares what you lost from the dunya? But if you have all the dunya and you did not find Him, then you did not win anything. I'll take you to the hadith of Ta'if. والحديث إسناده حسن لغيره. It is mursal actually. لكن رجاله ثقات. Well, it's narrated from another source, another sanad that is weak. So the combination of both, inshallah, amounts to Hasan. To say, inshallah ta'ala, Hasan li ghayri. You all know the event. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Makkah, he gave da'wah. And people treated him the way they treated him. Among them, they know he is. They know his fathers. They know his mother's family. Before the da'wah, they called them as-sadiq al-amin. The minute he started telling them about the truth, the merchants of venom came out. Their business, their bottom line is going to be affected. Those who used to survive on slavery and survive on usury and survive on hate and survive on killing and survive on dhulm, their shop is going to shut down when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam goes to a Ta'if where he has far relatives and he tries to tell them, give them the da'wah. How do they respond to him? They throw stones at him. And they throw filth at him, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And they unleash their thugs. You know what I'm talking about. There are some thugs that put shaitan to shame with their actions. Oh, they're more shayateen than shaitan. Shayateen al-insi wal-jinn, Allah says. Not al-jinni wal-ins. لا شياطين الإنس والجن. يعني there are shayateen from the ins that are worse than the jinn. They unleash their thugs to slander Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Who everyone reflects their essence anyway. يعني Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gives them good and they give them what they are. They throw filth, that's everyone reflects their essence. لكن الدعاء that you all know, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in this, and you can imagine that he's walking 50, 60 miles to a Ta'if after walking and telling them they do these things to him. And even they did not give him the hospitality of the Arabs at that time to just offer him water, offer him food, offer him something. I mean, someone came to you and unleashed their thugs on him. So he goes, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, with his heart, he says, you know the dua and the munajat. He talks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma inni ashku ilayka da'fa quwwati. Ya Allah. He talks, there's nobody. Ya Allah, I am complaining to you about my weakness. Wa qillata hilati. And I have nothing more to give, to do, that I can give guidance to these people. Wa hawani ala nas. And how these people are treating me. They don't know he's the best of the messengers. These people are insulting me and they're slandering me. I complain to you, Ya Allah, وَهَوَانِي عَلَى النَّاسِ أَنْتَ رَبُّ الْمُسْتَضْعَفِينَ وَأَنْتَ رَبِّي. You are the Lord of those who are weak, and you are my Lord. You are my Rabb. إِلَى مَنْ تَكِلُنِي. Ya Allah, to whom are you letting me? And then the munajah goes, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ends by saying, إِن لَمْ يَكُنْ بِكَ سَخَطٌ عَلَيَّ فَلَا أُبَالِي. As long as you are not displeased with me, Ya Allah, I don't care. As long as I'm close to you, I don't care. فهي المحب needs to be close to his Habib. And in this dunya, there is nothing better than that. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from His karam, He gave us spouses from amongst ourselves. خَلَقَ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. يعني, there is tanasub, there is tajanus. We're the same, we're human beings. And He gave us spouses from amongst ourselves. Why? لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهِ. Taskunu comes from sakan. Sakan really means peace. Still, calmness. So He made spouses for you, so you can do what? So you can enter our comfort, your comfort zone, where there's peace and tranquility. تَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. Garments of each other. Sakan, comfort. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. He made amongst you two things. In order for that relationship to work, there has to be two things. Mawadda and rahmah. Love and compassion. Not only compassion, but love. Not only love, but compassion. Oftentimes, especially for the youth, I can't tell you how many times I got, young men and women, and let me just take the men now since in front of me, all these men, young men, mashallah. The Shaykh, I really want to get married because I want to complete my deen, mashallah. I said, alhamdulillah, that's great. The Shaykh, I want someone, then he gives you all the details. Huh? And he wants a model plus. But Shaykh, I really want her to memorize the Quran, Bukhari, Muslim, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, Abu Dawud. Brother, can you find one like this for me? I don't mean that, huh? Lakin, sometimes we draw in our mind perfection. And obviously, especially with the Western media and soulmates and all these things. Here is the thing about this old soulmate and about this perfection. سألوا in Hadith Hasan, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he was asked, he says, إِذَا أَتَاكُمْ مَنْ تَرْضَوْنَ دِينَهُ وَخُلُقَهُ فَزَوِّجُوهُ. If you have someone that came to you and you like their deen and their khuluq, marry him. Look at the standard now. Look at our standard. Look at the standard of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Deen and khuluq. That's the standard the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us to follow so we can get married. That's both for males and for females. Look for deen and akhlaq. Wait a minute. Isn't akhlaq part of the deen? Didn't the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam didn't he come to perfect this amongst his mission, to perfect the standard of akhlaq? Hadith al-Sahih, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِيُتَمِّمَ صَالِحَ الْأَخْلَاقِ وفي رواية حسنة مكارم الأخلاق. Right? Isn't that hadith known? No? So how come he tells us deen and khuluq? It seems like deen is in your heart. Nobody can give a thermometer on your iman. But khuluq is the fruition of your deen. Your akhlaq manifests your deen in your heart. That's how we know you have deen. In other words, he did not say how much he memorizes, how much he knows, how much... No. Deenahu wa khuluqa. Their deen and khuluq. If you don't know how to check his deen, then look at his akhlaq. If his akhlaq are Muhammadan akhlaq, then he has to marry him off. See, that's where most people fail about the akhlaq issue. Yani see how he is. في الغضب والرضا. See how he is in good times and bad times. That's the akhlaq. Because the deen, it's difficult to get a thermometer. Lots of people, especially young men and women, he has to have this beauty, and then this how much money, and then when you go ask for her hand, they ask how many degrees do you have, what college did you graduate from, and where do you live, what area of the city, and then how many bedrooms, and what kind of car you drive. Vice versa. We're trying to marry the social status rather than the iman and the akhlaq. We're trying to marry the financial status rather than the iman and the akhlaq. We're trying to marry the physical beauty on both sides rather than the iman and akhlaq. And guess what happens sometimes with the physical beauty? Something happens and it fades. Even if nothing happens, it fades. Repetitive seeing the same thing over and over again, fades. And the money, you know what happened with the market, huh? It took a dive. And then all the money you have, there's no more money anymore. So what do you do now? You married her for money, now she has no more money, so you hate her. You married her for beauty, now she's no longer attractive. You start looking outside. Because your intention was not to marry her for the sake of Allah. Here's the point about marriage. Marriage is not... people want to get married. I want to get married, Shaykh, please. Oh, Habibi, marriage is not something for itself. It's not an objective for itself. Marriage has an objective. Marriage is an act of worship, and the objective is the pleasure of Allah. That's what marriage is. So you marry someone for the sake of Allah, to please Allah, because Allah is pleased when you're married for His sake. That's the objective of marriage. Now when you put yourself in that framework, I'm marrying him or I'm marrying her. Why? To please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If anything else comes as a bonus, physical beauty comes, that's a bonus. Money comes, that's a bonus. Family honor comes, that's a bonus. But the most important thing is the deen and the akhlaq. If you don't have these two, everything goes. So therefore, what happens when you marry her for other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake? When the beauty goes, you go. Your heart goes. And when the money goes, your heart goes. And when the family status goes, your heart goes. But if you married her for the sake of Allah, no matter what happens, goes or comes, you're still with Allah with her. She's still for Allah with you. It doesn't make a difference. Because I did not marry him for him. I married him for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you see? That's what she's saying then. Then what's the basis of choice? The most important thing in marriage is choice of partner. What criteria? The prophetic criteria. Deen and khuluq. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam focused on khuluq, because so you don't get distracted by what deen may mean to you. So you don't think it's only just simply a theoretical belief in the mind. No, there has to be akhlaq. Why? Because akhlaq is a practice of the theory in your mind. What you believe in, you demonstrate, you translate into akhlaq, into actions. And that's what determines what kind of person you are. It's not saying I love Allah and I love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then your actions disagree with what you say. We think that marrying money or power or family or influence, that gives us security, especially with the family of the women. They feel secure. You just got money, alhamdulillah, I'm happy. Wallahi ya ahibba, and I've been in the da'wah in the US 23, 24 years now. And before that in Syria, and I have seen in both, nothing gives security except the deen and akhlaq. No security. You can never find security for your daughter. You can never find security for your son if he's getting married, more than finding someone who has akhlaq and deen. That's the only security you have. Because everything may turn ugly. She might look pretty, but then her akhlaq may be ugly. Then you hate everything pretty because of that. He might look good for you, handsome, but his akhlaq are not handsome. So you hate everything about handsome because of his akhlaq. It's not about that. It's about that maintenance of that life, that shortness, that short life. Do you think I can have a union and that union is conducive to an environment that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You all know the great Sahabiya, Sulaym radiallahu anha. Sulaym, this house is a house of iman. Wallahi. The Sahaba radiallahu anhu or something, you know. She's Sulaym, her husband died. Abu Talha came and asked for her hand. Abu Talha is a man of money. The wealthiest man, Sahabi in Madina at that time. Money like you can't count. Anybody who Abu Talha asks, you know, I mean, you don't even think about it. Sulaym said, I have no business. Because you think I'm going to marry you because you have money? He said, what do you want? She said, my mahar is, if you want to marry me, I have a mahar, I have a dowry. That is La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. You say that, I'm yours. SubhanAllah. The people in Madina, they used to say, the greatest and most expensive and most glorious mahar and dowry was that of Sulaym. It's La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. You can't equate that with money. You can't equate that with money. People who have the meaning of these things. Husn al-ikhtiyar, choosing the right partner. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by looks. Don't be fooled by names. Don't be fooled by influences or social status. Look, as the Prophet ﷺ told you, put that in focus. Deen and akhlaq. Raw materials. Yani don't come like that brother, he wants her to know Bukhari, Muslim, after the Quran and everything. There's nobody like that, Maulana. Maybe a few people in the world. Yani the quality of the Sahabiyat there doesn't exist anymore. And so are the you know. I told them, do you know him? Do you know all these things? You're asking someone, you want someone who knows the Quran, she knows Bukhari, Muslim. Do you know the Quran and Bukhari and Muslim yourself? No. So if you don't know it, so you want someone to know it. We become reasonable in what we want. We want raw materials. The raw material that is deen and akhlaq, and everything else is secondary. Everything else, believe me or not, everything else is secondary. If she has that taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no matter what happens to you, she will be with you. I'm going to give you two examples. Shu'aib, his daughter, and Nabiullah Musa. Yeah, you know Musa alayhi salam. Faqir. It's not faqir. Has no money. Hatta he says it in the Quran. Rabbi inni lima anzalta ilayya min khayrin faqir. Ya Allah, he makes dua, he says, Ya Allah, I am faqir. There's nothing, I don't have anything. وَالسَّمَاءِ وَالطَّارِقِ. There's nothing. Yani my comforter is the sky, and my mattress is the sand. There's nothing. She comes to him. He comes. He goes from running from Egypt. He goes to Palestine. Oh, he sees these two women trying to fetch some water. Al-Quran says, وَجَاءَتْهُ إِحْدَاهُنَّ تَمْشِي. First of all, he went and he actually asked him, what are you doing here? The Quran, the ayahs are long, so some other time. They said, Abuna Shaykhun Kabir. Abuna, our father is an old man. We are waiting until we can fetch some water. So he went in front of them. He fetched some water. He left the water. And then he himself needs money. He needs this. But he did not actually ask for anything. He did it for free. And he went and says, Rabbi inni oh Allah, I am faqir for whatever you give me. As if he didn't look at them, but as if he fell in love with the way of talking. Or the akhlaq in general. Shuf, why? Because she comes and says, the Quran says, وَجَاءَتْهُ إِحْدَاهُنَّ تَمْشِي. One of them came walking. You can say, تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاء. She was walking in a shy way. Walking in a shy way. Or you can stop there and say, جاءته إحداهن تمشي على استحياء قالت إن أبي. So the meaning changes if you stop at this. Either she's walking in a shy way, or she's walking and she said in a shy way, our father is inviting you to come to our home. From this, you like the akhlaq. You fall in love with the akhlaq of the person. She said in a shy way. What did she tell her father? She gave her father a hint. قالت يا أبت استأجر. Oh father, when we went, she, honest daughter, daughter of a Nabi, akhlaq, highest level. She goes to her father and she tells him, oh father, we tried to fetch some water, and there's this young man who helped us. He seemed to be, قالت يا أبت استأجر. Oh father, you're looking for someone to hire. Hire him as a worker for you. إن خير من استأجر القوي الأمين. Look at you. The best one you can hire is someone who's qawi and ameen, trustworthy, strong and ameen. She's given her father, and her father doesn't understand. Done. Look at that. Adab. So we can learn from the adab of the Anbiya and the families of the Anbiya. That's all she told him. Now when she praised him to her father, Ya abati ista'jir, oh father, if you're looking for someone to hire, hire him, this man, this young man, because anyway, the best that you can hire is someone who's strong, so he can do things for you, and he is ameen, he's trustworthy. He did not say bad things to us. He did not send bad words or bad signals. He did not look at us in a bad way. Ameen. Ameen. It's not ameen only that he's not going to steal your money. Al-amana is not only about stealing money. Al-amana is also about the honor and dignity of people. Right? She's given her father telling him, I'm telling you that he is ameen because he did not look at us the wrong way. He did not say the wrong word. He did not. إِنَّ خَيْرَ مَنِ اسْتَأْجَرَ الْقَوِيُّ الْأَمِينُ. So the father, Sayyidina Shu'aib alayhi salam, said, he says, come. So he went in front of the daughters of Shu'aib, and they're guiding him. They're behind him, they're walking. He got to Sayyidina Shu'aib alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam, Nabiullah. He says to Shu'aib, tells him, I will marry one of my daughters. Right away, no problem. And, you like my daughter? You want to marry my daughter? My daughter likes, I will marry you, my daughter, for one condition. 8 years of hard work for me. Huh? This is love. You love? Bismillah. Huh? Huh? Hard work 8 years. 8 حجج. 8 years were hard work. 8 years hard work. Now the sisters get it. They're taking notes. 8 years hard work for you. Hard work. Sayyidina Musa said, no problem. Atamna Yusuf Ashar. Yusuf actually worked 10 instead of 8. Not only 8. Because he sees the quality of people. It's about people and their qualities. There are people who you would buy them with the earth filled with gold. And sometimes earth filled with gold is not worth their feet. Wallahi. And don't look at everything that is cheap. Huh? Musa alayhi salam works like that. The protocol and nice. Look at, I'll take you another example. Al-Nabi al-A'zam sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. 25 years. Khadija radiallahu anha now, she's the billionaire in Mecca. Not millionaire, billionaire. Huh? Everybody, obviously, Khadija. Business managers going to trades, taking her caravans and convoys everywhere. Her money was like a hill. Billions. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam takes her business one time. She has heard about him. After all, he's the son of Abdullah, son of Abdul Muttalib, son of Hashim. Huh? The average family there. Lakin yatim, he's poor, he's an orphan. He was raised in the house of Abu Talib. Lakin she heard Sadiq, trustworthy. So she entrusted him with her caravan, with a convoy, and she sent with him her eye, Maysara. He works for her. The Maysara is her confidant. He tells her exactly what he sees. He says, you go with him, tell me what happened. Because you know how the business managers are, huh? They go on, let's eat this on business expense. And let's do this on business credit card, huh? And everything becomes business, and they're not doing anything about the business. Huh? And they don't, whenever they get a chance, they don't know. Huh? So she's seen them all. She sends Maysara. Maysara comes back to her and says, I have never seen someone like him. Not only that the cloud is walking over him wherever he's going, but he's dealing with people, the barakah that he has, the honesty, I have never seen anything like him. Huh? Imam al-Busiri rahimahullah, صاحب البردة, in his other قصيدة الهمزية, in his Hamziyya he says, وَرَأَتْهُ خَدِيجَةٌ. Khadija saw him. وَالتُّقَى وَالْجُودُ مِنْهُ سَجِيَّةٌ وَالْحَيَاءُ. She saw in him piety and generosity as essential components of him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Yani he did not acquire generosity. He did not become generous. Sometimes when people become something, they have a hard time. And they are gradual. Yani this time is generous this, the other time is generous that. But the people who are always generous, the people who are always generous, they're always generous. She saw generosity and piety in his blood. He doesn't know that yet. ورأته خديجة والتقى والجود منه سجية والحياء وأتاها أن الغمامة والسرح أظلته منهما. She also heard that the clouds were covering him. وأحاديث أن بعث رسول الله قد حان منه الوفاء. When she heard from her cousins and others that there is a prophet that will come sometime. What's going on? Everyone's anticipating. فدعته إلى الزواج. وما أحسن ما يبلغ المنى الأذكياء. So she asked him, she offered to marry him. She wanted to marry him. She beseeched to marry him. And how genius she is, Al-Busiri says. Genius. She has the choice to pick, and she picked the best. Look what the Busiri said. وَأَتَاهُ فِي بَيْتِهَا جَبْرَائِيل. In her house, what happened when she married him? That house of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa Khadija, who came to that house as a guest? Jibreel alayhi salam. Look at that. She married him. Who came as a guest to her house? وَأَتَاهُ فِي بَيْتِهَا جَبْرَائِيل. وَلِأُولِي اللُّبِّ فِي الْأُمُورِ ارْتِيَاءُ. فاستبعنت خديجة. Khadija realized أنه الكنز الذي حاولته والكيمياء. Then Khadija realized that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that husband that she found, he is the treasure that she's been ever looking for, and he is the alchemy of happiness. Al-Kimya. That's real happiness. She came with him. That house, small house in Mecca of Khadija والنبي الأعظم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. Money is no problem. Influence, you name it. Now all of a sudden, the Nabi صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم is 40, and what? He comes back to Khadija. Hadith في البخاري, Hadith Sayyida Aisha Siddiqa رضي الله تعالى عنها وأرضاها. She says, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam came back home, and he says, "Zammiluni, zammiluni," and he is yarta'il fuad, yartajif. He's shaking. Cover me, cover me. Who's in that house? Khadija al-Kubra. Khadija, ya habibi. Khadija, she was in that house. Huh? She covered him. What is it? He says, he tells her everything. You know what everything means? I am a messenger. I have to give my message. I have to announce my message now to the people of Quraysh. I have to denounce the idol worshipping. I have to stop the injustice of people. I have to stop the zulm. I have. You know what that means to her business? What does that mean? No more business. She can lose everything. And she would be lucky if she has her life. If she's going to be... One is going against the world. What do you expect is going to happen? Lakin al-hadith al-sahih in Bukhari does record only one answer for Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha. After he told her all this, she told him, "Kalla, wallahi la yukhzika Allahu abada." No, but by Allah, ya Rasulullah, Allah will never let you down. You go, we're all with you. Allah will never let you down. She never told him what will happen to our money, what will happen to the home, what will happen to the kids. Why are you putting us in this danger? Why are you doing it? Kalla wallahi la yukhzika Allahu abada. By Allah, Allah will never let you down, ya Rasulullah. From that time on, da'wah was two people. Al-Nabi al-Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa Khadijatul Kubra radiyallahu ta'ala anha. So Al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would go to give people da'wah, to tell them, say, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. And behind him, Khadija. In one hand, she's carrying food, and in the other hand, she's carrying things to clean his wounds. To clean his wounds. The billionaire herself. And then he goes alone, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and gives da'wah. And people throw stones and rocks and things at him. And he comes with, his honorable feet are bleeding. His honorable face is bleeding, filled with blood. He goes to that house. He goes all the way until he reaches his house. Who is behind the door when he opens the door? When the door is open? Khadija al-Kubra radiyallahu anha. She opens the door and she takes him in and she wipes his blood and she comforts him and she sits with him. It's that house that gave comfort, and the house that was a house of warmth and a house of love and a house of tranquility and a house of iman. That was the house that Khadija radiallahu anha gave. That's what we want. Today, in Hadith al-Bukhari, Jibreel comes to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. He said, Ya Rasulullah, Khadija is coming towards you. She's not there yet. Jibreel does not come when Khadija is there. Huh? Khadija is going to come in just a minute, Ya Rasulullah. She's coming, she's holding something. Whenever she enters and she comes to you, tell her that Allah sends His salam to her. أقرئها من ربها السلام ومني, and Ya Rasulullah, also give her my salam. Jibreel, before she's coming, says, Ya Rasulullah, Khadija is going to come, she's holding food or water. Tell her that Allah sends His salam. And then please give her my salam as well. And tell her that awaiting her in Jannah, a house in Jannah where there is no more difficulties. Because life is difficult. But she stood next to Nabi al-A'zam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ya ahibba, in this marriage, and we can talk long about our mother Khadija radiallahu anha, lakin the point is, so I don't take too much of your time. When we look for partners and spouses, let's make sure we're looking for what the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us. Wallahi, money comes and goes, wallah. And I have seen personally people with lots of money that became poor, and people with poverty that became rich. Beauty fades and comes and goes. And family fame and name doesn't matter yawm al-qiyamah. Lakin what sticks by you all the time, whether you are a young woman or a young man, if you're looking for a spouse, what sticks always by you in good times and bad is that person who married you not for your sake, but for the sake of Allah. Because then if you make a mistake, she will forgive you. You know why she'll forgive you? Not because you're worth forgiving. Because she forgives for the sake of Allah. I'm not saying you're not worth forgiving. You are worth forgiving. Like maybe sometimes you make some mistake that she doesn't think that she wants to forgive you now. But she'll forgive you for the sake of Allah. Why? Because she remembers, I married him for the sake of Allah. So I want to forgive, so Allah forgives me. But if she married you for your sake, she'll never forgive you. Never forgive you. You do the same. If you marry her for her sake, for the sake of her beauty, the minute you see someone more beautiful, you start looking. Yeah. Same thing to her. If you marry for money, then one moment you see someone who has money, and I should have married that one. Huh? But if you marry for the taqwa of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu and bi khuluq, because you know she's always with you. There are few things we have to understand. And there's always going to be up and down. Always up and down in every relationship. But the frame must be for the sake of Allah. So then when we disagree, and we will disagree all the time, then you and her come together and say, alright, we're disagreeing. What does Allah and His Prophet say? And we both will stand corrected. See, when it is for the sake of Allah, you have to be judged against the Quran and the Sunnah. And then there's no problem. But when it is for you, you say, no, I want to do it my way. No, I want to do it my way. No, I want to do it against what my mother says. You know, you hate your mother-in-law. You should not be hating your mother-in-law. But always the in-laws, for whatever reason, The mother-in-law usually is trying to get her son married. And she is in love with her daughter-in-law. Until the next day after the marriage, she declares war. Then, you have AKs going on. Not everybody, some people. We have to change that. We have to change that. We have to diffuse these things. And we have to be the buffer systems that takes in and, saddid wa qarib, that we make things, fudge the gaps and finesse the differences. Like if she marries you for the sake of Allah, she'll be patient. And if you marry her for the sake of Allah, you'll also be patient with her. And her family, and whatever, because none of us is perfect. Perfection is only to the Anbiya alayhimus salam. We all make mistakes. Make sure the framework is, before you marry, I am marrying for the sake of Allah, and if we disagree, and we will disagree, because you see before marriage, love is in the air, romance, talking, texting, all these things. Wait. And then, the heat of passion, first 6 months of marriage, you're still, everything she says, it's fine, no problem. Just don't worry about it. But after that, you say, you said this. Huh? We will have problems. We will have arguments. That's normal. What's the framework of solving the problems and the arguments? What Allah said, what Rasulullah said. That's it, done deal. Then we can all be corrected. If we establish that kind of standard, I think then things will be easy. Not what your family says, not what my family says. Only what Allah Ta'ala says, what His Rasul says. And that binds both of us. That's the bond. And you make that intention when you get married, you're getting married for Allah's sake. You're not getting married because your family wants you to do so. You're not getting married because you should do so because everyone else got married. That ibadah. Act with marriage as it's an act of worship. Then you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as you're worshiping Him as if you're seeing Him subhanahu wa ta'ala and all that. It's very important, Yahya. And wallahi, this will save you lots of headache in the future. People who marry for every other reason other than Allah will face problems. When Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to love Khadija, you know what he used to say about her? It's sahih. He used to say, إِنِّي رُزِقْتُ حُبَّهَا. I was given the rizq of loving Khadija. Yani as if loving her is a rizq from Allah. رُزِقْتُ حُبَّهَا. يعني Hadith al-Bukhari, Sayyida Aisha radiallahu anha wa ardaha used to say, I was never jealous of anyone of Azwaj al-Nabi except from Khadija. Yani 10 years, 20 years after he's mentioned Khadija, everything. When they offer gifts, they say, give this to Khadija's family. When something happens, says, Khadija was like this, Khadija all the time, Khadija. لِكَثْرَةِ ذِكْرِهِ إِيَّاهَا وَثَنَائِهِ عَلَيْهَا. Hadith al-Bukhari says. Because he mentioned her so much, Sayyida Aisha says, he always talks about her. And he always praises her. This is wafa. This is loyalty. This is faithfulness. This is love. Love that does not last 5 years, according to some people nowadays. They say only it's 5 years, after that it goes down. A year, 25 years. 15 years after Khadija passed away, when Nabiyyul A'zam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is talking about Khadija, tell me what kind of love is this? This is the love Islam teaches. Yes, there is love in marriage, absolutely. That's the love. The love that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam showed Khadija, and the love that Khadija showed the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Things become easy and comfortable. If we do it on any other social scales or other things, things will not look good. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us that understanding. Mawaddah wa rahmah. So we can live, because they live and produce, because the point of having a family is to be productive to society. In what sense? Contribution. That you are a nucleus in society. You contribute positively to your society, even as a nucleus. You are a good person, she's a good person, both of you contribute positively. who are a positive change, power, and energy in society. You do birr and taqwa, and you prevent people and prohibit from ithm wa idwan and transgression. That's the point. It's all for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq. جزاكم الله خيرا وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله.